It's Friday, March 30th. This is Easter weekend, 2018. This is Guy's Daily Drive. Of course it is. And welcome to the Daily Drive. This is the end of the work week. I am so happy. And I'm not really sure why, because I don't have anything special going on this weekend, even though it's Easter weekend. I'm not particularly religious, so I won't be going to church. Don't have any trips planned, and honestly, living in this area, anytime that there's like not even really a holiday weekend, but a weekend of significance where people are like, ooh, let's go do something, it tends to make moving around in the area problematic. Not a lot of fun. But I am so itching to get out of town. I haven't traveled anywhere in a while. Last trip that I went on, I believe, was last August, going to see the eclipse, which was amaze balls. The eclipse was just amazing, and something I will definitely do again. But I haven't gone anywhere, whether with Tracy or by myself. We've just been home. Oh, you know what? I just remembered something that I did after the eclipse. I went to Boston and got Guy Jr. and brought him home. Not exactly the most fun of trips, but it did count as being out of town, so I figured I'd better include that. For the last couple years, something that I've done that I've really enjoyed is I've gone down to Florida, down to the Daytona area, met up with my nephew Bill. Sometimes stayed at his house, sometimes didn't. It depended on what was going on. This kind of started a couple of years back when his oldest son got married. William Thomas Searle IV. There's been, at one point when my father was alive, there were 4 living generations of William Thomas Searles. Wow. But his oldest son got married, and Tracy couldn't go. And he was hosting all the groomsmen at his house. They were college friends of his son Bill. So I had to find another place to stay. I went down for the wedding and stayed at this hotel on the southern part of Daytona Beach, Daytona Shores, called the Sandcastle Motel. Little tiny place right on the beach, practically right next door to the pier that's there on the south. And it was nothing fancy at all. It didn't have a restaurant, it didn't have a spa. It was a room, it was just a room, clean bathroom, place to stay in Daytona. And wasn't real expensive. As I recall, it was $60, $70 a night. So $60, $70 a night, right there on the beach access, just awesome. And then my nephew Bill, who's even taller than I am, has surfboards that tall people can use. And he came down, parked right on the beach. He had beach access. Parked on the beach, brought his surfboards, knocked on my door at the hotel, and we spent most of the day there on the beach. And it was great. I had never, even though I grew up in Florida, I had never tried surfing before. There was no such thing, really. Still isn't. There's no surf in Fort Lauderdale. Just none. It's not even worth talking about. So this was like my first opportunity in my mid-50s to go surfing. And I had a blast. Didn't surf, as far as surfing skills go. I am lacking. So lacking. And for the last couple years, I've gone down to Florida and spent some time with my nephew Bill and his surfboards and the beach. And it was just so much fun. Still haven't managed to stand up on the board. Someday. So it's calling to me, especially now that the cold weather seems to be in remission here in Northern Virginia. I was telling you guys yesterday, it was so weird. Last Thursday, a week ago Thursday, I had the day off because of snow. The very next week, it was 81 degrees. So not bad. But now that the weather's getting warmer, I'm like jonesing to go out and do something. So I got a couple things in mind. I'm gonna talk to Tracy about it, and she doesn't want to go to Florida. She's just not a beach fan. Whoa, buddy! Sorry about that. See, this is why, even though I am recording in the car, you will very rarely see me take my eyes off the road, because there are just so many people who just don't know how to drive. But one of the ideas that I had was to take a trip to New York and go see a Broadway play. And the play I want to see, I've heard great things about it, is Wicked, which is, from the little bit that I know, it's kind of a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it's Glinda the Good Witch and the Witch of the West, East, one of those two, and their actual friendship before all the events, and what kind of led up to their estrangement. And it's supposed to be really good, and I'd like to see it, but it's up in New York. So I'm thinking, go during the week when it's going to be a little less crowded, get some good tickets, drive up on one day, spend the day kind of just checking stuff out, and then that night go see the play, and then the day after that drive home. That's what I'd like to do. Now there are plays and theaters in this area, and I suppose before I spend a lot of money and going to New York, not so if you drive to New York, it's gas money. It's just gas money and time. But hotels in New York, especially in the area of the theater, is very expensive. But at the same time, I'm really not that interested in getting a less expensive hotel, but being so far away that we either have to take a taxi or public transportation or anything along those lines. But basically, I want to be in a hotel that we can walk out of and walk to the theater. It's not going to be that far. That's what I'd like to do. So we shall see what Tracy thinks of that idea. And again, I will check in the area to see if there's any shows that we can see around here. But that just sounds like a fun little getaway trip. Something that living in this area, you're not really that far from New York. You're not really that far from Baltimore or Philadelphia or even Richmond, and as you go south, not that far from someplace that's really cool to go, like Charleston, South Carolina, or just, you know, some places like that. Just start taking some short trips that aren't going to cost like a huge amount of money, and I certainly have enough lead time. It's just a question of saying, okay, well, let's get our stuff together and let's just go and do it. That's what I want to do, and I will let you guys. God darn it! I have been recording like crazy. This Guy's Daily Drive. It's almost turning into Guy's Daily Drive. And that was not my intention. But I don't know. Just sometimes things will come to my mind that I want to talk about. So I'll throw the camera up and I'll start to talk about it. I love technology. Technology is what has made all of this work. So that's it. I'll catch you guys next time on the Daily Drive. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can send me an email to guy@mymac.com, probably. guy@mttfgo.com. I'm on the Twitters. I'm Mac Parrot. You can catch me on Wednesday nights. I do a live cast on Facebook, Mac to the Future Go, in association with the Facebook group Mac to the Future. And of course, along with Gazmaz, I do the MyMac.com podcast, weekly podcast about all things Mac, naturally. So that's how you can get a hold of me. That's how all that works. And we shall catch you next time on the Daily Drive. Thanks for watching.